Hi, this is Monisha. So, I decided to talk about authenticity today. So, I have lived my life based on what others thought I should do. I have also lived my life based on how others thought or felt I should. I come from a marriage between two very different people from two very different parts of the world, of the country. We spoke only two languages at home, Hindi and English. I thought my mother tongue was meant to be the language that was spoken by my mother till I was told no, it was Bhojpuri because my dad was from UP. When I went to the village, I was the city kid who was entitled and better off than others. When I went to my mother's house, which is my mother's parental home, I was the product of a village. So people made fun of my dad's background, which I found extremely offensive, but I never said anything. So I grew up this totally confused person, not knowing where I truly belonged. A horrible situation for any person to be in, because technically I was a hybrid. But it was not till later that I decided to own it. But here's the thing, I spent most of my life in a state of limbo, and that has its repercussions and its drawbacks. Honestly, it wasn't easy just owning anything till I realized I was looking for this validation from other people when I didn't need validation at all. For years, and when I say years, I mean decades, I lived my life by standards set by other people. I behaved the way they thought I should behave. I did the things they felt were right. Norms and values that other people had more importance in my life because I didn't even know my own core values. Things like ambition meant I would be a bad wife. My career, if I had any, had to complement my husband's. I had to get married, had to have children, be the kind of mother that appeased everyone else by other people's standards. And for decades, I did just that. Live my life by standards set by other people. I was a football of other people's opinions. No, it wasn't nice. I swear it was the most exhausting period of my life than I could have imagined. Then over a period of some time, because changes like these don't happen overnight, I decided I was not going to be dependent on the opinion of what others thought that I should be, ought to be, or was. I was going to set my own trail, whatever it was, blazing trail, on a fire trail, or just a damp trail. It was going to be my trail. Maybe I became a bit of a rebel with a cause. I could not explain or justify. I just knew that what I had been doing just wasn't working for me anymore. Because no matter what I did or how I did it, someone was always annoyed, unhappy, or just plain miserable. And I was unhappy. And I think that was the worst of it. So I chose to not allow anyone to get to me anymore. What felt right to me is what I did. When I lived in Greater Noida, people would ask me where I was from. I said, well, I live here, so I must be a local. Some people found that funny. Whether they understood the implications or not was not going to be my problem anymore. I felt it, so I said it. Because you must also understand that long-winded explanation that my father was from UP, my mother's from Maharashtra, and I'm married to a Bengali was not going to simplify my life, because someone once said, oh, so now you're Bengali. So you see, there was no point to these explanations anymore. I was just tired. And when I stopped being tired, I started being irritated. So over a period of time, I stopped being irritated. I understood that I was still justifying myself. And this justification was not getting me anywhere. The only thing that mattered was that I was true to myself and authentic to who I was. So who was I? Forget the fact that I was a hybrid, or that I was married, a mother, a daughter, a daughter-in-law, etc., etc., and all the labels that get attached, slapped onto a person. I had to first identify myself without all the trimmings and laces. I was first a human being and then a woman. That's how I saw it, because that's how I see myself today. Of course, there are the added words of she and her, so that who was I as a human being and what were my core values became my focus. Then I undertook an exercise on finding my core values while I was doing my course in life coaching, because it is important to understand how the finding of core values work when you're doing it with other people. So I do it with my clients. I have always had the same core values. The only difference was that I did not know it. Once I found my core values, I realized that I had lived by my life by the same core values that are important to me even today. I have not changed very much. My primary core values remained integrity, honesty, and compassion. And it's funny because I have always been known to have these qualities, these three qualities. They did not change with my changing circumstances. So it didn't matter if I was a hybrid or did not fit in. What mattered was that I was authentic, true, and real. And being authentic is important to me more than anything else. For Polonius said so in Hamlet. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst be false to any man. Which means that when you are true to yourself, you will always be true to others. And perhaps the identity was important to those who asked about my background, because they needed to feel secure. I didn't need to feel the sense of security because I didn't define myself by my background, but as the person I have always been. Compassionate, with high integrity and honesty. Yep, that's it. I think that's a lot of heavy discussion for the day. All I can say is that I'm working with other people as their life coach. I bring my own experiences and my learnings to the table because I have lived a life that I can understand and sort of that helps me empathize with other people. Probably most people undergo a bit of an identity crisis. Everyone is like an onion, with layers like an onion. And to get to the core of a person, you need to peel back the layers, one at a time. It's time consuming, but it's worth the effort because what you get is a process that a person spends finding themselves. It's not always pleasant, but it's not always simple. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. Because if you're being authentic, then you're being true to yourself. And when all is said and done, the most important thing is, are you being true to yourself? So if my story resonated with you or with someone you know who to contact to work with you and find who you truly are and perhaps your purpose as well. So this is Monisha and I'm signing out. Stay well and season's greetings and a wonderful new year to you